Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Bainor Lampak Mutalib from Bais 2A, and good afternoon to each of everyone. For today's video, I will discuss the topic was given to me, the political economist David Ricardo, and let's start. David Ricardo was a British political economist, one of the most influential of the classical economists along with Thomas Malthus, Adam Smith, and James Mill. He was also a politician and a member of the Parliament of Great Britain and Ireland. David Ricardo born April 19, 1772 in London, England, and died on September 11, 1823 at Gatcombe Park, Gloucestershire. He was an English economist who gave systematized classical form to the rising science of economics in the 19th century. Ricardo was the third son born to a family of Sephardic Jews who had immigrated from the Netherlands to England. At the age of 14, he entered into business with his father, who had made a fortune on the London Stock Exchange. By the time he was 21, however, he had broken with his father over religion, became a Unitarian, and married a Quaker. He continued as a member of the Stock Exchange, where his talents and character won him the support of an eminent banking house. He did so well that in a few years he acquired a fortune which allowed him to pursue interests in literature and science, particularly in the fields of mathematics, chemistry, and geology. Si Ricardo ay pangatlong anak. Si Ricardo ay pangatlo sa 17 anak ng isang stockbroker na pamilya ng isang Sephardic Jews, na kung saan sila ay galing sa Netherlands at lumipat naman sa England. Sa edad na 14, siya ay sumali sa kanyang ama sa London Stock Exchange, na kung saan sinimulan niyang maunawaan ang mga pangunahing kaalaman sa komersyo, na tinulungan siya sa pangangalakal at pagpapalit ng mga operasyon. Sa edad na 17, siya ay napalaya sa kanilang bahay dahil sa kaalitan ng kanilang ama over religion. At dahil doon, siya ay naging isang Unitarian at nakapag-asawa ng isang Quaker. Kahit siya ay wala sa kanilang bahay at siya ay lumayas, siya ay naging miyembro pa rin ng London Stock Exchange, na kung saan dahil sa kanyang talento at sa kanyang pagiging at dahil sa kanyang talento at sa kanyang ugali na meron siya ay sinuportahan ng isang eminent banking house. At dahil nga siya ay naging milyonaryo at naging successful sa pagdaan ng mga taon, siya ay inipagpatuloy niya ang nauna niyang mga interes sa literature at science, particularly sa field ng mathematics, chemistry, and geology. Ricardo's interest in economic question arose in 1799 when he heard an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations, 1776, by the Scottish economist and philosopher Adam Smith. For 10 years, he studied economics somewhat offhandedly at first, and then with greater concentration. His first published work was the High price of bullion, a proof of the depreciation of banknotes, 1810, an outgrowth of letters Ricardo had published in the Morning Chronicle the year before. Si Ricardo ay nagsimula siyang ma-interes sa economics nang mabasa niya ang An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations 1776 na mula sa Scottish economist at philosopher na si Adam Smith. Siya ay nag-aral ng 10 taon upang mahasa siya sa larangan ng economics at ang kanyang naipublic na akda ay ang High Price of Bullion, a proof of the depreciation of banknotes. At this time, Ricardo began to acquire friends who influenced his for the intellectual development. One of these was the economist James Mill, father of the philosopher John Stuart Mill, who became his political and editorial counselor. Another friend was the utilitarian philosopher Jeremy Bentham. Still another was Thomas Malthus, best known for his theory that population tends to increase faster than the food supply, an idea that Ricardo accepted. Letter in Principles of Political Economy and Taxation, 1817, Ricardo analyzed the laws determining the distribution of everything that could be produced by the three classes of the community, namely the landlord, the profit, and the owner of capital. Si Ricardo ay isang tagasunod ng konsepto ng liberalismong pang-ekonomiya na hindi nagpapahintulot ng anumang intervention ng gobyerno sa ekonomiya at pinapalagay ang malayang negosyo at malayang kalakalan. May tatlong pangunahing klase ng katumbas. May tatlong klase o uri sa community, namely the landlords, the prophet, and the owner of the capital. The landlords ang may-ari ng lupa. By the way, para maintindihan nyo, ang three classes of the community ay based sa lupa or based on sa lupa or agrikultura. The landlords, may-ari ng lupa. Ang upa ay palaging binabayaran para sa paggamit ng lupa. Dahil sa dami nito ay hindi limitado ang kalidad at hindi pareho, at sa paglaki ng populasyon, ang mga bagong plat ng lupa ay nagsisimulang nilinang o ma-improvement o maging modernized. Mas mababa yon sa kalidad at lokasyon. Ang halaga ng paggawa kung saan tinutukoy ang halaga ng mga produktong pang-agrikultura. Number 2, the prophets. Sa mga may-ari ng pera at kapital na kailangan para sa paglilinang ng lupaing ito, ang bahagi na yaman ng bansa na ginagamit sa produksyon at binubuo ng pagkain, damit, kasangkapan, hilaw na materyales, makina at iba pa ay kinakailangan upang maisagawa ang paggawa sa mga ito. Pangatlo, ang the owner of the capital. Sa the owner of the capital naman, ito ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat dahil walang profit at ang may-aring na lupa ay hindi makakagawa ng produkto tungkol sa agrikultura kung walang owners of capital. Ang owners of capital naman ay isinasang-alang ang tunay na ratio ng supply at demand. Writers of various persuasions drew heavily upon his idea, including those who favored laissez-faire capitalism and those such as the German philosopher and economist Karl Marx and the British social reformer Robert Owen who opposed it. Kasunod nito, marami sa mga siyentipikong teorya ng ekonomista ay tinapon bilang hindi kailangan. Ngunit sa parehong oras, ito ay dokumentado ang kanyang pananaliksik ay naka-impluwensya sa mga aktibidad ni Karl Marx at Robert Owen. Shukran and wassalam. Thank you for listening.